Hello and welcome to this Friday conversation of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast. I'm going to do a special show. It's actually a partner podcast with the Shred podcast this week. I have Ryan Waters from Shred KC and Jody Rue.
Ooh.
They are here because I wanted to talk a little bit about community and about giving back. So Ryan, like I said, is a local business owner. He owns Shred KC, and he has decided that for the rest of this year, he has a whole plan of just giving back to the community. Ryan, let's just start real quick. What are you doing?
Well, not just the end of this year. We're going to go into next year and the year after. We're just going to...
I like ambition.
Yeah, we're just going to continue to do it. It's going to be an ongoing thing. And the reason we decided to do this because the community at Shred is so strong. You know, we have over 300 members now, and that's the biggest compliment we get from our gym is our community. So with 300 people, us all giving back, that's a lot of people helping out. So... You know, we just recently did for breast cancer. One of our clients' friends, she was going through chemo and radiation with breast cancer, and she was struggling to pay her bills. So we did a fundraiser, and Jody Rue DJ'd. We have some special classes all throughout the day, and between our clients, we gathered up $1,300, and then matched it. So we got the girl $2,600, and it was at the perfect timing. You know, she was behind on her mortgage, struggling to buy groceries, so. I mean, that filled her bucket. That felt really good helping her out.
Yeah. I know, and you guys know this, that's a subject near and dear to my heart. My wife's is almost a 6-year survivor now, and I will tell you, as much as the money, and the money does help, and even with great insurance, it costs a lot to go through all of that. But even just knowing that there's people there that are doing something to try and help you, to try and be there, it's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it felt really good. I mean, it was great, and just everybody came through. Like the whole Shred family came through strong. It was amazing. So, like I said, us all teaming together and doing something great, we can help change a lot of lives. And so we're going to do for Veterans Day next weekend. We're going to have a class that will be on the 9th, right? Saturday the 9th.
Yep.
We're going to do a class. Jody's going to be DJing. It's a lot of fun. Our classes, we just bring a lot of energy. Everybody has a lot of fun, and we're going to do donations for tiny houses for Veterans Day. And then our next one, we're going to have a harvester's bucket in the gym. So, you know, in any given week, we have hundreds of people coming in and out there. So if everybody brings a couple cans of food, and then on one of the days in November, Saturday, we're going to do a class to get into the class. You don't have to be a member, but you bring 5 items of food for harvesters before Thanksgiving, and you can get into the class, you know, that's your entry into the class. And then we're going to do a coat drive on November 2nd. You get into class with a coat.
That's tomorrow.
December 2nd.
Oh, December 2nd.
It's already here. We wasn't ready.
December 2nd. So your entry into class, if you normally do a drop-in, it's a $20 drop-in to come to one of our classes, but it's $20 to get in or a coat, and then if you bring 2 coats or gloves or stocking cap or scarf, anything to keep you warm, then we're going to give you a free smoothie from Shredlicious too.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we're going to do a big event, Shreducation event on the 12th.
December 12th?
December 12th. Yeah,
Bang, bang, bang.
And we got some
and that'll be right here at Shred in the event space in the back on December 12th. Bridge space. What did I say?
You said Shred.
Yeah.
You shredded it out.
It's early on a Friday morning.
So we're still working out all the details on that. We know it's going to be on the 12th, and I think it's going to start about 6:30. But we're going to have a lot of vendors to come around, local vendors you can shop, and I think your ticket price is going to be a toy to get in. So we're going to give back some toys to some kids in need. And then we're going to do raffles, and all the vendors, what they're paying to be in here is going to go to donations, and we're going to get some sponsorships around, and we're going to try to buy a family in need a car.
That's
big.
That's fantastic.
Somebody that can't get to work, and then I haven't worked out the details, but I'm working with another sponsor that might match it and buy a car for them as well. So
that's awesome.
A couple different cars for families. That's amazing.
That's great, and I think, you know, we always talk about on the Town Hall show, we always talk about the importance of being involved. I mean, that's the whole point of the Town Hall podcast, is that we are a community, and it's easy to get involved, and that you can make a difference in your backyard more than you get more impact anywhere else than you can anywhere else. So I love hearing this. I love the fact that, you know, you and I partner together on a lot of stuff. You sponsor the Town Hall show, and I produce your Shred podcast. And I just like the fact that we've found people that we can partner with that just do things around the community, and how easy it is for you to jump in. I mean, how easy was this for you just to say, hey, I want to give back. Who needs stuff?
We decided on a Thursday. I think it was it was a Friday.
Yeah.
Friday before the Monday that we're going to do the breast cancer thing. Sent out an email to all our people, and we came up with $2,600.
Right. Think about if we had more time to do it.
Yeah,
you know.
we had more time and got more people involved. Everybody wore pink. And that's not, we're just, like I said, this is just the rest of 2019. 2020, we're going to roadmap out, trying to do something at least monthly for people to give back through a community. And also, we're doing some things, and I can't release all the details yet because we don't have them all in place, but we're working on something called the Image Project. And we're going to take some kids, some high school kids, junior high kids that are struggling with self-esteem, struggling with their weight, and we're going to take them on pro bono and try to change their lives. So we're going to train them, we're going to teach them how to eat. We're going to teach them, to change.
That's a great idea.
And we're going to go to the superintendent, and we're going to have people write in essays about why they think should be here. But you take those kids' story, it can impact so many more if they see somebody change like that. We can do it. Well, I think we're just going to try to do it quarterly and try to get a whole new group of kids in there. So troubled youth, whatever. Like I said, we're still working out the details of the Image Project, and Image is a acronym that we're using. So it's going to be an awesome deal.
It was kind of funny how you started it, because I think I got a text message on a Friday that says, "Hey, do you have 30 minutes? I have ideas." And I think that's as simple as it was. And we walked down, and you just kind of laid out, "Hey, here's a list for the rest of the year. I want to make these things happen." I kind of want to get in a little bit to you, because you spend a lot of time at your gym, a lot of time on your podcast talking about the mental aspect of fitness, that it's not just hitting the gym, it's not just eating better, that you've got to have that mental and that emotional side as well. So I'm curious how this all kind of fits in with that.
Man, we talked about the mindset of happiness on our podcast, about happiness, about filling your bucket. Okay, we talked about you want to do good things to help fill your bucket, and that just makes you happy and more confident. Helping give back like this, that's filling our bucket. And like it just feels good to do it. And if you're struggling, with yourself, if you're struggling with confidence, if you're struggling what your place needs to be, start to give back to others, and it's gonna it really starts to fill your bucket. And that builds confidence in yourself, which will make you be better at working out and give you more confidence in a weight loss or anything in life, I think. What do you think, Jody?
Yeah, you gotta really conquer your fears. A lot of people, they get caught up in all the day-to-day stuff that we deal with, and we all have stress, and you have to have a way to get that out. That's why going to the gym and sweating it out is going to make you feel better. That's why, like you said, giving back to your community is going to make you feel better, and it'll come back. Never give because you want something in return. That's not what it's all about. We all are in place at somewhere of an employment or anywhere that we're working, and you got to come together. Write down these things that you think are great ideas to give back to your community, and start talking about it, though. If you don't take the things that are on paper and lift them off and start implicating it into your life daily, you'll never make an impact. So tell your manager at your job, "Hey, we should do this." They might not ever thought about it.
Well, you touched on one thing. You said give and not worry about getting back.
Right.
You have to give. That's exactly right. You have to give and give and give, and don't worry about trying to get something back out of it. That's not why we're doing any of this.
No.
We're doing to help people, and we have a strong community of like-minded people. And it's everybody's just doing it out of the goodness of their own heart.
For sure.
We're not expecting anything back from it than being able to help change some people's lives. Yeah.
Well, I think what you're talking about, though, is you're just talking about allowing yourself to have empathy, to be able to think about people and their perspectives, and there's a difference, and that it's just also it's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing. And you told me a little bit off air before we started that this is kind of, as an adult, this is a newer thing for you, that when you were younger, that you didn't think like this.
Young and dumb.
Right. We all been there.
That's what I was telling Nick before we got on air is and I'll be 100% honest, it's been hard for me to be compassionate. Compassion is
That's a tough thing to admit, by the way.
Yes, it is. Compassion is something, my ex-wife used to tell me all the time, you need to be more compassionate, and I never, it went in one ear and out the other. I didn't really care, but
right.
For instance, if you see, a homeless guy, I'm like, well, get a job. It may not be that easy for that man to get a job, or that person to get a job. And you don't know people's struggles. You don't know what their upbringing was. You don't know what happened to them as a child. You don't know their story, to why they're there, why they're what they're doing on the side of the road with a sign, And so you have to be more empathetic, like you said, and have compassion. And that's something. Honestly, that's something that's really grown on me very rapidly in the last 2 or 3 years. And like I said, I'll be the first one to admit it. Where if there's somebody that I saw that was overweight, I'm like, just get in the gym and work out and stop eating bad food. But they may not know how to eat good food. You know what I'm saying, or be able to afford it.
And nobody has ever taught them.
So that's why that's why I'm more compassionate about that, because I know they can come to my gym and we can help them. We have knowledge, and that's why we put out the podcast, to give people knowledge to help change their life. And it's like I said, it's really taken a long time to get compassion, but I have it now.
Well, like I said, I think that's a tough thing to admit, and I think you should get credit for that, because making yourself vulnerable like that, to say, hey, I used to be an a-hole. Yeah. I used to not think about you and your other perspective, but now I'm learning to do that. I think that's a good thing to do and a hard thing to do.
Well, you got to have compassion, but you also have to make people be responsible for their own actions. Like you can't. Because there's plenty of freeloaders out there as well. So you have to be compassionate for the people that really need it, and then teach the people that have more abilities to be able to maximize their abilities and see their strengths and be able to build from that and build a life. On the last podcast, for people that didn't hear it, I was at an event last weekend, and there was a guy that spoke there, and just 4 years ago, this guy was a drug addict. He was on the side of the street, and he had the whole crowd laughing because he said, he's addicted to cocaine. He's like, actually, anything I could get to put in my body, I could take it and put in my body. Like alcohol, drugs, whatever it was. This is 4 years ago. The guy has built a business that's worth $10 million in the last 4 years from being a drug addict. So anybody can flip their life around,
right? But
they have to know they can. They have to have the support, and they have to have that laser focus to get out of their element that they're in. But so many people sit in the shit because they don't know how to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So helping back, giving back, and work, especially this image project, working with kids that may never switch their mindset to believe in themselves and know that they can do more with their lives. That's what we're trying to reach for.
And now you're starting to get into your wheelhouse here, which is you guys talk a lot about that, just that positive attitude, and about having to learning to look at things with a different attitude, a different perspective, a different lens. I'm gonna throw out every cliche in the book here.
That's the truth, though.
But that's kind of where you guys come from, and what you're trying to do with your show. I tease you guys, call you the meatheads, but that's not what the show is. And like, I'm the biggest cynic in the room. But that's where you guys come from. Is that positive attitude and positive thinking?
And it's a choice. We don't think about it. We try to overthink everything, and it's just normal by nature. But it's your choice to wake up and be positive. It's your choice to find a way to use whatever platform you're on, to use it in the right way. I mean, like, for an example, I love Ellen. I've always wanted to get on Ellen DeGeneres because she uses her platform and she gives back, more than most do. And if we can find a way to give back and have that kindness in our heart and know that it's a choice to be positive, and it's a choice to lift people up, and it's a choice to come out here and use your light and your energy to make a difference on the people that you're surrounded around, that's when you change lives. That's when you change your life,
Yep, exactly. Just like this breast cancer thing, that we helped the girl, and, she was 3 months behind on her mortgage. Could you imagine how stressed out you would be? Like, if I was 3 months behind on my mortgage or on my rent payment, I would be completely stressed.
Freaking out,
and she's in radiation. I can imagine being in her shoes and what she has to go through. So for us to be able to go give back to her and put yourself in her shoes, to have that relief, at least for a little bit, like, it just made everybody feel so good. Like,
for sure.
It just changes the energy at Shred. And like you were talking about, Nick, with the mindset of the whole thing, it's like, if you say negative things about yourself, if you have negative self-talk, if you have negative self-conscious thought, you're giving all those negative thoughts power. I mean, once you speak them, once you say I can't do something, you're giving that power.
For sure.
Like, you need to say positive affirmations all the time. And I'm telling you one thing, that's anybody that can change that's struggling right now with depression or self-esteem or in a bad place in their life, just switch your thoughts. Anything negative that pops up in your head, switch it positive and repeat positive affirmations all the time. And that, I mean, if you're religious with that and you're constant and you don't let those negative thoughts creep in, if they do, shut them down immediately. Shut them down and turn whatever was in your head that was negative, turn it positive.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
On the flip side of it, though, too, so you were just talking about that power that you can give yourself by thinking positive, that power and that feeling that you got because you helped someone else. Turn that mirror, though, too, and just that me pouring into your bucket is going to make you feel great, too. And that's really, I think the biggest thing, and that it's not hard to do. And before I forget, I want to go, so if people do want to get involved, they want to help out with what you guys are doing to help out this local cancer patient, to help out with harvesters, to help out with the Veterans Community Project. What did I miss?
The kids.
The toy drives.
Yeah, anything.
How can people follow along? How can people learn more about what you're doing and when these events are?
So we send out emails to our list, so they can either get on the website and submit their information to our website, so they're on our email list, or follow our Facebook page, Shred KC Facebook page, and we'll make announcements on there. And our Instagram or whatever, it's Shred KC. So if whatever your platform is, we'll make announcements on there when we're going to be doing everything. Like I said, you don't have to be a member to come to support this stuff. So if you just want to volunteer, if you want to try one of our classes and you want to get involved, that's how you do it. The Shred.
Right, come sweat it out for a cause.
One thing I want to touch on too, Nick. I'll just interrupt you here. Is I just saw
Dang it.
on the news about how lonely we are. Like there is a loneliness epidemic, which I didn't know about, going on in the world. Like all over the country, like in Asia, it's like a huge epidemic where people are depressed, people are lonely, they're suicidal because everybody's in their phone. They lose touch of those personal relationships because everybody's in their phone. And I guess loneliness is like rampant, which you would think the way our society is now, which everybody's at your fingertips, it wouldn't be that way. But people just have these relationships with their phone and social media and everything. So one thing if you're lonely or you're depressed, get off your phone and start making some friendships. Go get involved. Go give back. I'm telling you, it's going to flip your life around.
Yeah, my grandpa would always say, never know a stranger and always try to make someone smile and everything will work out. Just simply saying hi. You don't have to go into detail. Just a hello to somebody. They might be like, well, they might not even think that they're noticeable, and somebody just saying something nice, hope you have a great day. I mean, these are little things that we can all do that's going to change our community. It starts with that. I mean, not all the time can we just give hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not all the time can we donate all of our time, but if you simply just add a little coin or add a little seed, you'll see how that's going to grow and flourish, and it's just going to make everybody around you better.
Well, you talk a lot about community. I think when we started this conversation, you said the gym community in there, and we've talked about our community as a whole, and then just connections to thread back to what you were just saying. And I think that is important to have personal connections, personal conversations. I was telling a friend of mine the other day that these podcasts I do, the few that I host and the ones that I produce, that's become almost my therapy sessions too. I look forward to those interactions with people, and I love doing the interviews because then I get to learn a little bit about what makes people tick and their stories and helping them share. So that's how I do it. That's how I kind of get off, and I sit here and I've got 3 mobile devices and a laptop surrounding me as we do this. But yeah, I mean, that's how I get kind of into the personal thing, and we all have to do it. And you guys, you've got 300 people coming into your gym every week, and Jody, you are a trainer there. You also DJ some of their fitness classes, and you DJ other events. So I'm assuming that's how you kind of get your connections as well.
Absolutely. I really do love being around people. I know not everybody are people persons, but if you just take a second and you find out what you're really good at, you gotta use it to your advantage. We're not all great at everything, but we're all great at something. And sometimes, when you find out what your why is, we've talked about that before in our podcast, when you find out why you are here, you're going to feel like you can make an impact. So my way is making people smile, give them a hug. I'm a hugger. I make people...
That's
no
true.
Stranger. Like I will make people that do not even like to touch another person, high five, shake a hand. They will be in less than 24 hours. They're hugging me. But you know what? They see the genuineness in what I do. They know that I'm not faking it. I'm not trying to make you think I'm somebody I'm not. If you see me on social media posting a motivational speech, or if you see me out at a club, you're gonna come up to me and I'm gonna be the same person that you saw. You can't fake the funk. People, stop trying to fake the funk. Don't be somebody you're not. You can't try to be like everybody that you see. You are you. And when you embrace who you are, you all are special. Everybody listening right now, there's something special about you. Just know that. Wake up every morning and remind yourself that you're a badass. Remind yourself that you're going to be successful today. Remind yourself that you're going to do something positive today. And guess what will happen? Those all will happen. But you have to speak it into existence. Stop flirting with your goals and teasing them and go after it. Jump all the way in. Belly flop in. That's what I do. All the way in. It's fun.
Talking about the community, going back to the community at the gym, it's so interesting, to see people come to the gym for the first time. They're nervous, they don't know what to do,
right?
Feeling everybody out. But then after a week, a day, or a couple days, and all the trainers welcoming them and Jody hugging them and everything, people get comfortable. And then we partner everybody up in our classes. So then they meet a friend. They partner up with them, and then they're hanging out outside the gym, and then they make all these friendships and everything.
Right.
So I know I could probably list off 10 people that made their best friend at Shred. that they just meet people, and it's a community. So you're with like-minded people that have the same goals and everything. So if you are out there and you want some sort of community to be around, go join a gym. And I'm plugging Shred obviously because we have the best community.
Yeah.
Community, but just go give it a try, and I guarantee. I've heard so many people that have never liked to go to the gym that love Shred. I've heard so many people that that felt no energy at the gyms they've gone to their entire life before they came to Shred. And I'm not just saying that, like it's a true story.
For real.
And once you start working out, like Nick, once you start eating better and you start being more active, don't you feel so much better?
Oh yeah.
You feel better not only like you feel better like with your body changing, but just mental focus, energy, everything. Like, and I think people don't understand if they're struggling with like feeling like shit all the time or crap all the time, that they just need to get in the gym and start working out and taking care of their body and build some relationships, and your life can completely change and change those change the words that you say to yourself in your head to everything positive, and like it could be a night day difference for a lot of you guys listening to this. Right,
out with stress and with success. Remind that, out with stress and with success. You got to keep saying that. You got to keep saying these things. It's all your mindset. Your mind is the strongest thing that you got. Your mind tells your hands to move and your feet to tap. It tells your hips to move like a hula hoop, whatever it is. But you gotta tell it to do what it's got to do. So if you want to wake up every morning and be negative before your feet hit the ground, maybe you should just rewind and try again. Go back, lay back down, close your eyes, count to 10, and then try again. That rhyme, but it's the truth.
Well, you're always rhyming. Hey, I want to reverse just a little bit. I want to go back to something, Jody, that you touched on. So I want to ask you the question.
Yeah.
What's your why? Why are you doing these things? Why is it important for you to do what you do, for you to give back?
Well, at first I didn't know. I went to school for graphic design. I've always liked art. I love music. I never thought that I'd ever go into the fitness, and it really took. I was hosting a pool party, and I'm DJing, and it's making people drink and party, right? It's still a fun way to get people to get loose and relax. But one of our friends had me come shadow some of the coaches at his gym. He's like, I think you'll be a great coach because your energy and your positive attitude. I never even thought I played sports growing up. I was athletic, but I never thought in a million years I would be a fitness coach. It wasn't on my radar at all. And I went in there. I didn't want to just follow the coach around. I was like, my way of doing it, I'm going to work out every class with every single, person and I'm going to sweat with them and figure out how they tick and let them know that I'm willing to get down and dirty with them too. I'm not just going to tell you what to do and think that you got to listen to me and you don't even know who I am. So I learned that, and then I found my niche, and I, honest to God, it changed my life. Because I saw that my positive energy, I'm at 1,000 every day. I can run off of 2 hours of sleep, and I'm going to be going ham sandwich.
By the way, that is maybe the truest thing that has been said in this studio, because I have watched you, and I've watched you at a DJ booth. Excuse me. I've watched you at a DJ booth where there is like 3 people around, and he is still, Ryan, help me out here. He is still like at a level 1,000.
It blows my mind sometimes. I'm really tired, and I know I got twice as much sleep as him. I'm like looking at him with my eyes getting ready to shut. I'm yawning. He's dancing around with everybody all the time. I know Jody likes to make people happy. He likes people to have fun. He likes people make people smile. And he likes to hug people. He likes that personal connection. And you can see that with people. Like every time Jody goes up and hugs somebody or Jody's around, people are happy. People are smiling. He brings happiness to people.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, he does a great job at it.
And when you really embrace, it is. You put it out. People, if I'm running on fumes, I know people are like, some people are morning people even throughout the day. Some of us don't really start really moving and grooving until like 1 or 2. But whatever the case is, like you said, whether there's 3 people or 1,000 people, I'm bringing the damn heat. Because I know that they're relying on me. Even if I'm having, I don't want to have a bad day and I choose not to. People say, how do you do it every day? I'm like, literally, like I just said earlier, it is a choice. It's that simple.
So what fuels you then? So when you are having that low day, when you haven't had any sleep, or it's just tough, because everybody has a tough day.
For sure.
So what fuels you?
When they come in, whether it be at a club or at the gym or just walking down the street, and I see their eyes light up, that's all I need. Just seeing them smile, because I'm going to take that smile, I'm going to embrace it, I'm going to throw it right back. It's all about throwing energy. What are you going to do with your energy? You're going to throw negative shade on everybody, bring people down. It's easy to be those type of people, a negative person, somebody that doesn't feel like they care. They don't know why they're here. But I'm telling you, when you did give a little, you get so much more in return. And it ain't money that you get received. You're going to be getting that vibe. You know, your vibe attracts your tribe. What type of tribe are you trying to build? And that's how you change your community, is by attracting the right people. You can't win everybody, but if we all each one reach one, no, you can't. It won't happen. But if each one of us try to reach one, that's how it changes. We got to chip away. You know, I can't just knock down a tree with one swing. Ryan might be able to. I'm gonna have to chip away.
He's a freak.
You know, he's a freak of nature.
And he just took off the jacket, so
right.
he's gonna show everybody.
Bow, shoulders on camera. But just know that you have something within you that's powerful, whether you think it or not. And when you find out what it is, don't let it go to waste. Please don't, because we all have something special that somebody can relate to. And if we realize that, that's when we start really changing lives. And that's why I do everything I do.
It kind of makes me think a little bit about, you just talked about, you see somebody as you're walking down the street, you see their eyes light up. That a friend told me several months ago about just, hey, when you're walking down the street, and this is easier because, Ryan, we work in a little downtown community, but when you're walking down the street and you see people coming the other way, make eye contact. Do something simple. Make eye contact, say hello. And so I've tried to do that, like, purposefully every single time, and man, it does make a difference.
Absolutely.
It makes a huge difference in them, in you, just to make that one little effort.
Yep. I try it, but some people are scared of me.
Right.
When you're 6'5", jacked and tan, which is an inside joke for those listening to the other podcast.
Jacked and tan, yeah. So it's funny too, because after I've gotten out to more speaking events, we've done our show educations, we've done the podcast, speaking in front of the chamber and different stuff. It never fails that I have at least a few people come up and tell me, "Oh, you're smarter than I thought you were."
Damn.
And they're like,
I really want to make a Fort Osage joke right now.
Doors open.
Because I'm like, should I be offended? Is that a compliment, or should I be offended? You're passionate about what you do, and you're very educated with what you do, and I'm like, and so many people have come into the gym that have been like intimidated or scared to meet me. And they're like, "You're the big teddy bear." Like, I think you just said it this morning.
For sure. I did.
It's like, don't judge a book by its cover. If I'm walking down the street and I try to make eye contact with you, a lot of people will look away. I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you a hug." My little Asian friend right here will give you a hug too.
Just one, please.
So yeah, don't judge a book by the cover. Make relationships.
I'm gonna flip it and go back to you now. So Ryan, let's talk about your why, because you just talked about a huge change in the last 2 or 3 years, where you've, I think, intentionally learned to have compassion, to be empathetic. So what was that impetus? Why, I feel like the words are like leaving me. Yeah. But what was that? What was the thing that made you change?
I think it's just growing and looking at life differently. Looking at the world differently, and I've just my compassion's grown, and just working with people. When people sit down across my desk that come to me that want to work with me and change their life, they usually spill all. Whether how they feel about themselves. Like, I've heard some people say some pretty negative things about themselves sitting at my desk with a consultation. And that's helped build my compassion too, because I'm like, this person is really struggling with this. And I have to be more compassionate, because with my body type, I mean, I'm kind of genetically blessed. Like, I've always been like tall,
Jerk.
lean. So I've had to be more compassionate to that. I haven't had to work as hard as this person might have had to work to get to where they want to be. So, my why is like, it's changing people's lives. Like, not only just physically in the gym, but when I work with my clients, I change their mindset. There's people that have walked in my gym and sat down in front of my desk, and 6 months later, they are a completely different person. I mean, all aspects of their life, their marriage, their relationships, their job. I try to get people to go out and have fun and live life differently. And that's what fuels me. Like, when I see somebody I was just talking to a client this morning that her life is completely different than the day I met her. Honestly, when she came in, she was on the verge of divorce with her husband. They were both out of shape, got them both in shape, and now their relationship's better than it's ever been.
That's awesome.
And it's just helping, or just people that were, miserable in their life, and just flipping their mindset. Like, that's what fuels me. Like, that's my why. And I'm trying to build a future for my son. I'm trying to instill all this stuff that I preach on the podcast and I preach to my clients. I'm trying to instill that in my son so he can be a better man. Like just taking these life lessons and teaching them to him and seeing him implement it. Like, I love that. That's my favorite part of my life right now is raising my son.
Well, and there is nothing like seeing your child kind of take on some of those things. We do a lot of stuff around the downtown area here and some different things in the community, and to watch him try to follow suit, or I always the funny story for us is we volunteer during downtown days every year, and my son for the last 4 or 5 years asks every year he wants to work the info booth. Like that's his thing. He's like, Dad, we doing a session? Do we get to sign up?
Yeah.
And I mean, and I don't understand it because that's the most boring shift there is. but he wants to be involved.
Yeah,
it's so important.
I made a post the other day, a picture of me and my son, and talking about the Jesse Itzler, who I saw speak, and he was talking about tips on how to raise your children. And one of the things that really hit home is like you need to show your children you doing difficult things. Like you being able to start a business, succeed in life, and do difficult things, because your kids are always watching you. So if they can see you doing it, it builds the confidence in them that they can do it too when they get older. And that's so important when you're raising your kids, because if you're always speaking negatively around your kids, they pick up on that, and then they have that that negative thought process, and they say those negative things because they hear that's what you say.
Right, it's contagious.
Just like we do in the gym with all my clients, we're constantly building confidence, because as we know in life, confidence is a game changer in all aspects of your life. If you're confident in what you do, you're going to have better relationships, you're going to do better at your job, you're just going to look at life differently if you have confidence. And my son right now, he's struggling with confidence and cockiness.
Yeah, that's a tough balance.
So we got to find that got to be humble in between. So I'm teaching him what humble means, and so it's if you build confidence in the gym and with my son, like everything he does, it's always supporting him, always building up his confidence. So but like I said, if it gets a little too high, then you got to bring it back down. He's got to have a great level of confidence.
Right.
And like right now, that's my favorite thing to do.
And you just talked about it, like showing them you doing hard things. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool concept. And so one of the big differences between me now as an entrepreneur and me before as a corporate lackey, is I'm trying to make up. I always feel like I'm trying to make up for time where I spent majority of my life away from the house in an office, or even jobs before that where I traveled some and I wasn't home. I always laughed that my son was 2 weeks old and I was gone for 2 weeks traveling for a job. I'm home a lot more, but I also bring work home with me a lot more. So that almost makes me feel a little bit better that he can see me. He can see me working to make the things happen.
Right.
But I also want to make sure that I'm present.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find that balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a hard balance to do, because I have my son 50% of the time. So, all this work that I want to do and get done, I try not to do it with him so I can, spend my time with him. But I'm going to repeat these. I posted them on Facebook the other day, and most of you guys probably didn't read them, but I want to repeat this because these are very good nuggets from this Jesse Itzler. When he talks about raising your kids, he says you need to praise the effort, not the result. Okay, so if your kid's doing
huge,
that is huge,
and they give effort in it. I preached this to my son not too long ago, even before I heard this guy talk. Like at practice, at MMA, at football practice, as long as you go hard and you pay attention, I don't care if you're the best kid on the team or not. You don't have to win every championship. We're not going to give you a participation trophy, but you have to give effort, okay? And that's what everything in life is, because you're not going to be good at everything you try. So praise the effort, not the result, and then let them experience disappointment. So let your kid experience disappointment, lose a game, not do good at something. Let them experience disappointment because it helps them build grit. So I think that was a good one too.
And you got to learn how to learn from a mistake.
Right.
Exactly, and that's what that's talking about. Show them you doing difficult things. Your kids are on their own journey. Okay, I was a college football player. When my wife got pregnant with my son, I was like, yeah, he's gonna be the next tight end, Tony Gonzalez. I was all pumped up. He hates football. So I'm not going to take him and force him to play football. He's on his own journey. So the next one is your kids are on their own journey.
That's hard. I love baseball. My kid hates it.
Yeah.
Can't stand baseball.
But you don't need to push them into doing something they don't want. Let them develop in the person they're going to be.
Yeah, find out their own. Right.
And there's so many parents, that their kid hates baseball, but they make them play baseball for 9 months out of the year in tournament leagues, and they're
right.
not able to be a kid and find their own path. Your kid is his own journey. I have a tattoo on my arm for my son. It says, I will be the one to guide you, but never hold you down. So like I'm gonna guide him through life, but he's gonna do the things that he wants to do until he gets in trouble. Then I'm gonna guide his ass right to his bedroom. And then the last one he said was let them conquer disappointment. So let them experience it, and then let them conquer disappointment. So if they lose a basketball game or something and they're disappointed in it, let them go back and give more effort to try to do better. So I thought those were great.
That's heat.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and just talking a little bit about, I think, just about being positive, about getting involved, about doing something to make people feel better. Just one more time, let's say if people want to get involved, if they want to see what you're doing in the community, how can they find out? How can they get involved? And there you go.
All right, come meet us.
And then I'm going to do, as a producer, I'm just going to do one shameless plug. You can also listen to the Shred podcast. Go find that. Along with, keep listening to the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast.
Thank you, Nick.
I'm going to blame the cold medicine. Well, guys, thank you very much. And we will talk to everybody next time.
See you guys.
You have been listening to Shred with host Ryan Waters, along with Aaron Simpson and Jody Rue. The Shred podcast is produced by Nick Parker and the Fredcast Network. Subscribe to Shred on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or most any of your favorite podcast apps. Have a topic, idea, or question for Ryan and the gang? Connect with us on Facebook at Shred Podcast.
Now you know. This ain't words I rule. Too fresh, too clean. In your mouth like Lister, rain. Swish swash, swish swash.